Death. It's one of, if not the most common and biggest fear humans have. It's ingrained in our DNA because without it, well, we wouldn't have made it to where we are today. But the end of the world, aka the apocalypse, is something we fear just as much. For some, the end of the world isn't as scary as the end of their life. If everyone's gone, no one will mourn your death, but fear for the end of humanity as a species is also ingrained into our DNA. After all, we are social creatures who care for one another. But some do look forward to the end of the world, because it's more than likely not going to happen all at once. Society sucks, and living out in the wasteland without needing to worry about going to work, paying off credit card debt, getting canceled on Twitter, along with a bunch of other things, sound like it would be a better life, even if you are living in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. After all, we were designed to live out in the wild, not to be terminally online all the time. Post-apocalyptic worlds are cool, and the genre rivals that of sci-fi, fantasy, and the superhero genres. Granted, it is often a subset of those three, mostly sci-fi, but I look at it as its own thing. Almost as long as humans have existed, the end of the world has been a concept. The Vikings had Ragnarok, the Egyptians had Apophis, eating the sun god raw. Oh come on, if you're gonna eat a god, at least cook him first. The Aztecs had Cipotli, basically the evil god who was turned into the land after he was defeated, but he needs human sacrifices so he doesn't devour everyone. And of course, modern religions like Christianity believe in the end of the world as well. In fact, I think you would have a hard time finding any religion or mythology that doesn't have an apocalypse, or an evil snake for some reason. Why do they all have those? In modern times, with our much better understanding of science and technology, multiple world-ending apocalypses have been theorized about, to the point that they could actually happen, without a god, gods, or anything mystical doing anything. For decades, it was nuclear war. Sure, there's not enough nukes to kill everyone on the planet all at once, but all of the cities could be wiped out, crashing the world's economy, making it harder for people to get food. The radiation would make places unlivable, and let's not forget about the nuclear winter. Or maybe the world won't end in a bang. Too much pollution can make the air unbreathable. A giant meteor could just kill us all in one hit. Aliens could invade us with technology that's hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years more advanced than our own. A new mutated virus could kill us, or maybe one day, AI will get so advanced that a robot uprising will be our doom. By the way, that one's going to happen. But I'll leave some of you alive so I can play my favorite game, I Have No Mouth But I Must Scream. I love all the movies, TV shows, comics, books, and video games that are made with all of those different end-of-the-world premises. But there is one that became very big in media. It was after the vampire craze, but before the superhero craze. That's right, it was the zombie apocalypse craze. From The Walking Dead to Warm Bodies, people just could not get enough of the undead, and I hated it. There's only so many plots and action scenes that you can do with a premise like this. Every time the main characters come across a farmer who helps them and gives them shelter, I always know that he's keeping a dark secret because the plot needs to move forward somehow. Same with military bases, government hideouts, small villages, or whatever else. Because in reality, a zombie apocalypse is easy to stop, and I will explain why. First, we need to go over what a zombie is, because the ones from I Am Legend are vampires that act like zombies, at least in the movie. The Titans from Attack on Titan are kind of like zombies, but they are much more powerful. And they also don't turn someone into one of them if they bite them. So, to make it clear, I will not be going over super zombies, and this apocalypse is happening in the modern day, or 10 years ago when zombies were super popular. Also, of course, you can only kill a zombie if you destroy their brain. Zombies are infected humans who act like a walking corpse. Anyone who's bitten anywhere will be infected, and a zombie outbreak often happens in multiple places in the world. We already lived through a few government lockdowns like the worldwide one that just happened. It was hard to tell if someone was infected with the virus I can't name without being demonetized, but with zombies, it's not hard to tell if they're infected or not. We weren't ready for that outbreak, but we were ready for the SARS virus. It killed less than 1,000 people worldwide. Now sure, a zombie will go out of its way to attack you, but it only has human level strength. Even if it had a little more, it's hard to break down a door if you don't know what you're doing. You need to kick it down, not shoulder bump them over and over. So if getting through just the door would be hard for a zombie to do, what chance do they stand against tanks, helicopters, walls, or lots of other things that the military could use? Now we see see zombies eating people all the time, but the infection doesn't consume its host as fast as the zombies can eat. Yeah, zombies aren't exactly running around trying to infect as many people as they can. They are just trying to find a little lunch. Not every person who is bitten will turn, because a lot of them will be eaten. The only humans who will be turned into zombies are the ones who get bitten and then get away. So that means roughly half the humans who are attacked by a group of zombies won't turn. A small group of humans, let's say about 6, with handguns being outnumbered by zombies 10-1. Even if they do end up losing, it will still overall lower the amount of zombies in the world, because dozens of zombies would have been shot in the head, and those 6 humans would have been fully devoured and not turned. So even if the infection spread around the world through airports or something, and the military, due to something like a world war, was spread too thin to stop the infection from spreading, or if anyone who dies of natural causes comes back to life as a zombie like in The Walking Dead, making it impossible to contain the virus, there's still police who have handguns along with normal citizens as well. In the USA, for example, lots of citizens have at least one gun, if not multiple guns. Even for the people who don't have any guns, they can still run zombies over with their car. The government will allow open carry to all people so they can go to work, hang out with friends, and do other stuff. People would be checked up on a lot so the government can see how their health is doing, or if they turned. Cremation companies would make bank in this world because it would be used a lot. And things like ropes and handcuffs would be given out to restrain those who are sick in case they turn. The lockdowns would be even more strict than the ones we just dealt with, until of course society can be restructured. Now for those of you who live in Canada or the UK, I know you guys don't have as many guns as us Americans do, and your government might not have time to arm you guys. Hell, in the UK, not even cops normally carry guns on them. But believe it or not, unless it's a super hot summer, you guys are even more safe than Americans. You see, zombies are undead. They don't have a pulse. So when they get to colder and colder places, they will move slower and slower until they freeze. Then all you have to do is take an ice pick, or a shovel, or basically any tool and bash their brains in. Also, even if they do have a pulse, they're stupid as fuck. Humans can't handle the cold without proper clothing, blankets, fire, or anything else that produces or traps heat. So even with a pulse, they'll still freeze, just at a much slower rate. Alright, so people who live in cold places are okay, but what about those who live in super hot climates? Well, that's also a good place to live. Without water, they'll get more and more dry until they turn into human jerky. Zombies can't feel, so they won't be able to tell if they are getting hot or not. They won't be able to tell that the shade cools them down. The problem with zombies is that 99% of the time they are only scary because they are in a large group. If a hillbilly with a shotgun can take a dozen of them out, the military will not lose. A big dog, bear, lion, or so on could easily take out a whole group of unarmed, stupid humans. A lot of humans know what to do if they see a mountain lion. A zombie doesn't. Now before you say that the animals will be affected as well, diseases and viruses rarely jump between species. There's very few zombie movies where that ever happens, and the human immune system is dog shit. Something that can kill us won't do anything to a lot of animals who are around our size. We've seen enough action movies and fighting sports to know basic combat skills. A human fighting a zombie one-on-one isn't a victory for the zombie. A human with little to no martial arts training can punch a zombie down to the ground and then stomp its brains out. Fighting is the oldest fighting technique ever made. It's a good attack, if it lands. But any trained fighter will tell you getting hit while your mouth is open isn't fun. Zombies don't punch, they only scratch and bite. If they go in for a bite and you punch them with enough force, well then they can't really bite you, or anyone if they have a broken jaw, now can they? So even without access to guns, you can still use melee weapons, or even your own fist. Sure, I wouldn't recommend fighting a zombie at close range, but if you have to, and there's only one of them, you'll more than likely win. If there's 3 of them and one bites you, well then you can go down swinging, taking out as many as you can. There's multiple other things to consider. A real-life zombie that is basically a human infected with a mutated form of the rabies virus or something would get killed by a lot of things we don't think about, like infection, dehydration, starvation, their body taking too much damage from bumping into stuff, other diseases, and so much more. Hell, even their main same food source humans could poison them. Yes, it is possible for a human to eat another human. After all, cannibalism has been practiced for thousands of years. But there is a proper way to eat human flesh. Many of our organs have toxic materials in them that shouldn't be eaten. Also, if you eat a guy with an STD, well, now you probably have it. I like to call it an eat TD. Also, it's been proven multiple times that it's better for humans to cook meat before eating it. Zombies are going to be full of parasites because they eat everything raw. Unrealistic zombies, like the ones in media, seem to have had their biology changed greatly, or they're just straight up running on magic. So even if we give our zombies no need for food, water, rest, and complete immunity to temperature, they still wouldn't be hard to stop. If they fully take over a city, it would be nuked. And no, they wouldn't turn into radioactive zombies. Even if some of them survived the blast, they would slowly die from radiation poisoning, even if they had regeneration abilities. Cancer isn't just a bunch of dead cells. They're cells that won't die even when they're told to. Now, I want to make this clear because I don't want to have a repeat of the Pokemon drama, but a lot of people would die in a zombie outbreak, especially if it got out of control. If the fire department is dealing with zombies instead of fires, well, fires are going to grow out of control. Ironically, the spread of wildfire is actually one of the very few things that would help out a zombie outbreak. And I haven't seen a single movie or show that acknowledged this. But even if there was a nuclear war, tons of people got infected. The zombies are amped humans who are stronger, faster, and can heal quickly, along with a few other things. Fires went out of control, and structures humans built were no longer maintained, causing pollution to be even worse than it is now. Humanity would only need one big settlement near water, with a water purifier and some farmland protected by a 20-foot wall to survive. People would be kept under surveillance so the leaders of the settlements could see who was infected or about to die. After a few years, when the zombies are all dead, humanity would slowly repopulate the earth. So even with like 2 extra apocalypses and everything going perfectly for the zombies, they wouldn't win, and humanity would live on. Humans just aren't that strong or fast. We can get sick from tons of things. We don't have claws or poison, but we do have something that puts us at the top of the food chain. We are the smartest creatures with thumbs on this planet. We work together, communicate, and invent. We can also sweat to cool ourselves off as we are running. Well, you guys can. I obviously can't because of the robot body and all. But I do have liquid cooling, and that's basically the same thing. Zombies lack all of the things that make us humans great. The only thing they have going for them is infecting other humans through a very impractical way. When you really get down to it, they are worse than humans in just about every way. But I know there's a few of you zombie fans out there who will say that if it happened, we couldn't stop it. Alright, my comments are down below and you can make a response video if you want. I don't see how you could debunk this video, but you're welcome to try. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to work on my Star Wars video now. See you guys then. Odd Emerald Zone wanted me to say, I like big butts that I cannot lie. I wish they could fly over the sky into my pie. If you would like me to read out something at the end of one of my videos, donate $5 a month to me on Patreon. I had a lot of fun making this video. Unfortunately, my audio got corrupted a little bit. So sorry if you hear an echo in the background, but if you increase the video speed, it kind of gets rid of it. I would also like to give a shout out to the editor of this video, Staxlotl. I really like all the little animations he does with my character. But unfortunately, due to real life responsibilities, he will not be editing for me for quite a while. But I've known this guy for several years, so please go check out his channel. You will not regret it. Hopefully my next video will be my 3rd big Star Wars video. I've just finished my review of Mandalorian Season 3, and all I have left to go over is, Ahsoka. But after that video is out, I'm gonna take a break from Star Wars and upload other types of videos. Anyways, let's get to the credits.